Salve a tutti, salve Claudia.
Ciao.
Bene, oggi vogliamo presentare un'intervista davvero particolare. Sto parlando di Samantha Camacho, che è Leader GEG Special Education SPED Texas. È fondatrice di EdTech Years e Google Trainer, Google Innovator. Di cosa ci parlerà? Beh, stiamo entrando in un ambiente di apprendimento particolare, un ambiente di apprendimento inclusivo, significativo, che viene aumentato con i servizi Google. Infatti Samantha ci presenterà la sua aula per bisogni educativi speciali e come usa naturalmente i servizi Google nella sua didattica quotidiana. Sei pronta, Claudia?
Sono pronta, ascoltiamo Samantha. Hi everyone, welcome to GEG Italia meets GEG SPED Texas. So today we have a very special guest. She's the GEG SPED Texas leader, but she's also a high school special education teacher and also a Google trainer and a Google innovator, excuse me, and the founder of EdTech Ears. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Mantha Camacho, that today she's going to share her best practices with us. Thank you so much for being with us, Mantha.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, so what do you have in box?
All right, you ready for some fun tips and tricks to help your students of
Yes,
all shapes and
please.
sizes? All right, let me share my screen. And we're going to go over 3 or 4 things that I'm specifically using Google for to help meet the needs in my classroom.
All right.
So I'm in the process of sharing. And the first thing is when I'm in Google Docs, I'm coming to y'all from Texas in the United States. So the English is our national language, but the second language is Spanish. We don't have a lot of Italian speakers, but we do have Spanish, we have Korean, we have lots of languages that kind of come into the United States, and it's beautiful and wonderful. Our teachers don't often also speak that language. And so we need ways for the lessons and the content to reflect that student's native language. We have in the States, it's called ELL, English Language Learners. They are learning English while they're getting their education in schools, but they need some scaffolding, they need some help. And so Google has provided some really neat ways to do that. So when you're in docs, when you're in different things, you can go to tools and you click on tools. Look what's down here. Translate the document.
Oh, wow.
So I've been kind of sleeping on this. I have another tool that I've been using for translation. And I was
Right.
like, wait a minute, I can do this and save myself an extra tool and come right here into my Google Suite and access it. So you can bring in your worksheets, you can bring in your lesson plans, you can bring in those things that you want students to interact with. Click on Translate Document, and you can choose a language. All the languages are there. So we'll of course go to Italian, of course. And look what happens when you hit the translate button. Notice it creates a new document.
All
So
right.
it's not translating on that original English document. It's now making it an Italian version of that document. And so now, if you are like me and you've got a student that's learning Italian or learning English and
Yes.
is a native Italian speaker, you can provide both of these documents or combine them on the same document. And they can kind of use that as a way when they're coming across an English phrase that they're not familiar with. read it in Italian and go, oh, and get that content.
Sure.
So that's a super easy way that you can kind of infuse that and kind of help students, even if you're not learning a language because you're in that native language, but maybe you're expanding your vocabulary and you're wanting to learn a new language just kind of to become more of a multilingual, amazing human. So you can kind of use that in different ways. So that's kind of my first tip and trick. I use it a lot with my Spanish speaking students that come to me, and I'm like, I know the naughty words. I know when to tell them to stop speaking it, but I don't know enough yet to have conversations with them in their native language and to help them. But I have ways to help make that content at a level that they can understand it. So that's one of my top tips right there.
Wow.
In the high school special ed world, especially in middle school and high school, so you're looking at the ages of 13 to 18.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about Italian children, but these children have a lot going on in their head and their heart. And they need adults that they can feel safe with.
Yes.
And use as sounding board to kind of help them process those big feelings that they're coming through. And so something that I've used for years in all of my classrooms is a daily check-in.
Oh, wow.
I made it in Google Forms, and it's a daily feelings check. So with this, before I had it in Google Forms, I had it on a paper slip. And every day that it was their routine to come into my classroom and pick up a daily feelings check and fill it out and put it in the box. And while I was doing roll and doing those beginning of class things, I would kind of scan through them really quickly and see if there was a student that needed something or had something important they wanted to share, but they didn't want to blurt it out in class. It kind of was a nice way for me to kind of build relationships in kind of a subtle way. For them to do that at all times. So, but now that I've got Google Forms, it helps me to kind of, because it creates an automatic spreadsheet that I can kind of quickly look at. It saves time, it saves paper, and paper cuts, and all those things. And if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of Disney.
Yes, you are.
So I Disneyfied it a little bit with the movie Big Hero 6. There's a character in Big Hero 6 called Baymax, and he's this little medical robot. And so when he's activated, he comes to you and he says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain? And so I took that and I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your day? And so notice I toggled it in Google Forms to where this is a required question. They have to assign a number to how they're feeling. 1 meaning, leave me alone. 10 meaning, hey, I'm doing great. And anywhere in between. That's the required question. And the reason it was a required question and it didn't require words from them was because the school that I used to teach at before I became a high school teacher was what we call a disciplinary alternative school. So these are the students that were breaking the student rules. They were drugs, alcohol, fighting, those kind of things. And so they would come to my campus temporarily and eventually go back to their home campus. So, but they were coming in all throughout the year. So I never knew day to day who was going to be in my classroom. So I needed an easy access. You don't have to know me yet. You don't have to trust me yet, but you can tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling.
Yes.
And so it's kind of a low lift for them. So that's why that is a no words required, easy answer for them. And then the next question is optional, and it's always been optional. Is there anything you need or want to share with me? So this can range from, it's my birthday this weekend, to, I started my period. Do you have a pad?
Wow.
To, I didn't eat breakfast this morning and I'm really hungry. To, I had a really rough night. Please let me sleep. I mean, It can be anything. It can be anything that they want to share. And it's not required, but it's always there.
Yes, yes,
because
yes,
there
yes.
are some students that don't want to share. And I
No,
don't want them to feel pressured to share. But I always want them to know that I'm always listening, I'm always learning, and I'm always here for them. And so that's why I did this. And then, being the cute little Disney girl that I am, I added a little YouTube clip at the end. If you've ever seen Big Hero 6, there's a little handshake that they do. It's pretty cute, it's pretty fun. And I'm not going to show it in this video, but I'll share the link. But it's super cute. And so if they need that little happy, they can watch that. So that's something that I do daily with every student every day. It creates that spreadsheet so that while I'm doing roll check, I can scan and see, does anybody need the counselor? That's another good thing. I need to see a counselor. I need to talk to the principal. And they want to kind of tell me that private message. That way I can, while I'm checking roll call, send an email to the counselor. Hey, so-and-so is requesting to see you. Hey, this person needs to call their parent. Can you come get them when you get a moment? And it's not, if they don't want to talk to me, fine. I am not vain. I want them to have the support that they need so that they can have their best day. And if they have a stronger connection with another teacher, they can say, this is my favorite teacher. I would really like to go talk to them about something. Okay, let me email that teacher on the down low and let them know so that when they have a chance, they can come grab you and talk to
of
you.
course. Wow.
So I have found that to be a really nice way to build that safe space and community. And there are ways in Google Forms where they can do voiceover to kind of if they're uncomfortable with typing.
Yes, yes.
So there's ways to infuse additional accessibility into that. But typically at the high school level, for this purpose, they're pretty good with being able to type it out. I need help.
Right,
I need something. So I
right,
don't have it on for the high schoolers. But if ever I had a student that needed that, instantly it would be added on there. So that's my
right.
second tip. So first tip was translating it to the language that the student needs.
Of course.
Second tip was how to kind of create connection, especially with new students that you haven't had a chance to build that connection with. Once they get to know you, they'll come tell you privately, but they haven't quite got there yet. So help them out by giving them something like this. The next tip, now this is kind of a new one for me because it's a Gemini tip.
Wow.
Have y'all played around with Google Gemini gems?
Yes.
Have you made gems before? Okay. I had a little brain thought a couple of days ago.
Right.
Why don't I create a gem for my classroom? I have 5 students that speak Spanish. I have 2 students that speak Italian. I have 8 students that need read aloud on every activity. And you can kind of create that gem and customize it with the things that you need. So that when you feed Gemini that lesson plan, that idea, and it's generating stuff, it's going through the lens of that gem, and you are making sure that you are hitting all of those accommodation needs that you need for students. So that you're not having to remind yourself, oh yeah, I got multi-language students. Oh yeah, I have this student that needs this particular thing. You've already added it as a thought partner with Google Gems.
Yes.
And now you're able to just kind of and kind of really help offload some of that lesson planning. Because I don't in the States, you are generally, depending upon the campus that you're at, you may be required to submit lesson plans every week or every quarter.
Right.
And it's very time consuming, and you've got to show your differentiation. You've got to show your objectives. You've got to show. So in Texas, we have our state standards are called TEKS, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. And so for each grade level and each subject, there's a list of TEKS that teachers are required to cover in the course of an academic year.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's what I would feed into the gem. These are my TEKS for this year. This is my students that I've got. These are the students that I'm going to need to remember that have a special differentiation need that I need to be aware of. And so instead of me having to constantly reload that in, set it up as a Google Gem so that it helps when you're preparing those lesson plans you're already considering it. You've already taken care of that, and you've already
Great.
accounted for that. So it's such
Great.
a time saver with that. There's some front loading work building the gem that you need it to be, but the time savings over this course of the school year is just phenomenal. So
Yeah.
that's something I just recently was like, yes, I need to build that out better for next year. I'm trying it out now with my students and kind of tweaking it. But because Gemini is still so new and we're all still learning and seeing kind of the application. But that is really, really intriguing to me is how I can infuse some of that and help streamline that preparation and planning on the teacher part so that I'm not spending my time lesson planning, I'm spending time with my students.
Yes. Yes.
Building that connection, building that relationship, making sure that they're understanding the content. So that's my Gemini tip. The last tip. So my current classroom situation
Yes.
is actually kind of a unique one. I do have a couple of classes where I'm actually teaching and working with students, but the majority of my day, I'm facilitating a room where students come to take a test.
Yes.
So I'm not really directly teaching them anything. I'm not grading anything. It's so nice. But when they're in there, I mean, do we like taking tests? Are they just the highlight of our days? No.
Not
Does our anxiety tend to ramp up when it's time for a test?
Yes.
Yes. And
Yeah.
same thing for our students. They
Yeah.
struggle with that anxiety. What time is it? How much time do I have left? What's going on? What day is it? And so in addition to my room where I have lots of colorful light to keep the mood nice,
Yes.
in
Yes.
addition to a big can of mints and a big tin of candy for them to kind of eat to kind of work out those frustrations, I also have a Google slide that I share, and it's different every day. These are some of the ones that I was using around Christmas time, but I like this
Right.
one because it kind of fits Claudia's vibe with all the colorful lights. And I'm using Slide Timer. This is a Google extension called Slide Timer, and you don't have to pay any money for it. You can do the
Right.
free version. It's totally free. But you
Okay.
add it as an extension, and it has a special like coding that goes with Google Slides and Google Documents, to where now when my students come into the room, they see the candy, they see me, they see the ears, and when I go to slideshow mode, look what happens. It
Oh,
automatically
wow.
gives me the date and time. Now, I'm an American, so of course it's showing the month and then the day.
Yes.
But you can
Yes.
totally change it and have it be the way y'all do it. You can have it be the 24 hours instead of the 12 hours. But it's such a nice kind of inviting way because we don't have a clock in that room.
Yeah.
I didn't make the rules. I didn't make the classroom, but there's no clock in there. And so this way they're getting the time. It syncs up automatically with our bell schedule to change periods. So I'm able to quickly say, hey, you've got 5 more minutes. And using that clock and that time in there. So it's such a brilliant way to just very easily have it done in Google Slides for you. So that's my last tip. Those are the 4 biggest things that I'm using in Google. So
I thank you so much because you showed us how with easy but effective steps you achieve your students' potential in a much thoughtful and caring way. This is not something that you impose to your students. You're working with your students for them to feel at ease, to make learning accessible in a less stressful way and very effective way. So I really thank you for the tips that you gave us. And I think I'm going to see more of you because you're amazing. And I want to see more of your tips because, it's just helpful for us as teachers from the other side of the pond, to just share best practices and to learn from each other.
yeah,
So
I want to
thank
learn more
you.
from you. What's working for y'all so that I
Uh,
can kind of glean from that and infuse this and be even more amazing for my students.
thank you, Mantha. Thank you so much for your time and for having shown us everything you do. So you're magic. So Keep shining bright, and I see you next time. Bye now.